Today we celebrate the memorial of St. Maximilien Kolbe, and if you know anything about St. Maximilien Kolbe, it's probably the way he died. He died in a concentration camp during the Second World War, where he volunteered to trade places with another prisoner who was sentenced to death. And he traded places with this man and died in his place. That story really struck me when I was a young man. When I was in confirmation class, I actually chose Maximilien Kolbe as my confirmation saint because I couldn't fathom being in his shoes, right? Imagine being in that situation and making that decision. It seems unthinkable. It seems crazy to volunteer for your own death. But if you look at Maximilien Kolbe's whole life, you realize that this was not just a sudden moment of inspiration. It was a sudden moment of inspiration, but it was more than that, because his whole life he had been preparing to make this decision. This was a man who would be a saint even if he had died some other way. Maximilien Kolbe was known as a great missionary. He went to Japan, he learned their language, which was very difficult for a Polish guy to learn Japanese, and he founded a Franciscan house there that is still there today. It's in Nagasaki. And everywhere he went, in his letters, he talks about, I met this guy on the train, I met this person on public transportation, and I spoke to them about the gospel. And this is kind of how our conversation went. Maximilien Kolbe had a great devotion to Our Lady. He promoted Marian consecration. And everywhere he went, he would train his friars, his fellow Franciscans, to be zealous for souls, to be aggressive, to constantly seek out, how can I serve God in this moment? And so you can see that a lifetime of practicing that prepared him for that moment, which means Maximilien Kolbe is actually somebody we can imitate. We don't need to be in a concentration camp to imitate him. We can do that right now. So maybe if you haven't prayed the rosary in a little while, today's a good day to do it, especially in preparation for tomorrow's feast. Maybe if there's somebody in your family who is astray from the faith, maybe it's a good time to reach out to them with kindness, right? Maximilien Kolbe, he was famous for saying, forget not love. In everything you do, what is the loving action? Because then we'll truly be instruments of the Lord, instruments of the Blessed Virgin Mary as we seek to spread the kingdom of God.